I think the most important thing for any founder is to realize that each stage of the company requires a different you. So
Mm.
when you're just a couple of people in a room, what requires out of you is the holding on to product market fit. You have to have incredible conviction around an unconventional contrarian idea. You have to be able to uh, build that idea and then get people using it and create momentum from nothing. After that, you need to then be able to, replace yourself and scale a bit. And this is where I would look back and say there are things that I did that I would do differently, that I will do differently this time around as I build my
Hmm.
company. And all the smart people around the table, venture capitalists, advisors, executives, they all tell you to delegate. And I think delegating is really a bad idea. I think I think a founder should hold on to as much as they possibly can and surround themselves with incredible people. And I think, by the way, that this is changing. That it used to be that delegation was necessary in sort of organizations of the past where they were hierarchical.
Hmm.
You had management layers and you needed to even route information through managers. But I think with AI and with the internet, organizations have become and will become way more flat. And what you're
Yeah.
going to see are a new type of company evolve. Companies with 30, 50, 80 people doing 100 plus million of revenue and hyper efficient, hyper productive, not having meetings, globally distributed, people around the world like teleporting in, hopefully in a Rome virtual office, by the way,
Hmm.
using AI, having 8-minute meetings, collaborating together, in and out. And like at that point, this new kind of company that doesn't require as much management infrastructure, founders are going to be able to have direct reports that, it used to be the conventional wisdom is don't have more than 8 direct reports. And everyone says, oh, well, okay, congratulations, you're a manager. Here's what you do. Set up a one-on-one recurring meeting with each person in your team. And let me tell you, I'm very anti one-on-one meetings. I think they're awful. I think they're a death knell. They clog up your calendars, they slow down information, they turn into therapy sessions. Meetings are like a gas, they'll expand in exactly how much time you give them. And people that are fresh and happy and ready to work coming in can be sort of bent out of shape coming out, like a bad session or something. And if you have 12 direct reports, all of a sudden 12 hours a week is lost to stupid one-on-one sessions. So I I basically tell people, and by the way, these are things I did the first time, and I
Hmm.
guess it worked, but this time around, I think there's a better way. And I think, today now that a lot of these things that I had an intuition about are being validated. If you look at, Brian Chesky's founder mode, right? Brian Chesky
Hmm.
said, like, he doesn't delegate anything. He's in the details. That's how I'm running Rome. And the most important thing for any founder, basically, as you scale, you're going to delegate different parts of the company. You ultimately have to
Hmm.
give things up. So there's a stack order in which you should give those things up. And the first thing you should give up is all the administration, finance, legal, HR, but you hold recruiting. And then you can keep giving things up depending on your exact skill set, IT, that kind of stuff. But the
Hmm.
very last thing that you never give up over your dead body is product market fit. Product market fit is the ultimate forever job of the founder to make sure that you are at the bleeding edge of the strength of your offering and how well it fits into the marketplace for your customers. And you never delegate that. The minute you delegate that, the minute you are not running the show and nobody is. And that's the most important thing for a founder to hold on to.
And you touched on a thing that I've heard over and over, especially from people that went to Y or that worked within Y Combinator, which is just getting feedback from customers, early and often. So like, how did that adjust or help you along the way?
Yeah, I'll actually take a different angle than I think I would have in while we were in Y Combinator. Of course, you're in Y Combinator, you're like sleep deprived. It's like
Of course.
90 to 100-hour weeks. A lot of it's just a blur. But I think customers are always trying to put you in a box of how they currently understand the world. And the pain points that they're trying to articulate in the direction that they give you, while helpful, should be taken and distilled down to like what is their pain point and less on what are they asking for.
Mm.
So, for example, when we were selling AI bookkeeping, which is what we were doing while we're in Y Combinator, the feedback we got from customers was my pain point is I want to be able to see all like my product in a dashboard. It's like, so what we ended up doing was like doing the AI bookkeeping, but then spending a ton of time building out a dashboard for people to see their revenue numbers. And that was a mistake because what ended up happening was we looked like every other accounting software out there. It's like we did
Right.
nothing different. And if you're using AI to do a lot of the work, which we're starting to do, like everyone does that, most of our, most everyone's code is generated by AI, most of their designs are generated by AI. AI will just create what's already been created. And so you're just going to end up
Just fading to the background.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you just become noise. And it's like be the signal, not the noise kind of thing. Listen to their feedback and but like handle like it in a nuanced way that addresses their pain point without like just doing what everyone else has already done. Otherwise you're not going to stand out. So that was like it was cool
Yeah.
to see that feedback, to do the mom test, which I highly recommend reading, but then also to be like, okay, what's like their actual issue here and how can I help them solve this? Without doing what everyone else has already done.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting like piece of advice because I feel like most people will just kind of like point and shoot, and take that information and go after it. But
Yeah.
it nuance like within the AI space, you kind of have to almost tell them what they want because they don't know what you're capable of.
Yeah, it's almost like the Steve Jobs approach. It's like, which I think it's harder to be when you're a new time founder. It's not even arrogance. It's more just like really truly understanding what the customer wants
Yeah.
and even like wording it back to them in a way that makes sense. It's not like, oh, hey, it's like Dell tried their hand at doing MP3 players right when the iPod came out, but it wasn't like, hey, this is an MP3 player. It was, 1,000 songs in your pocket. And I think like articulating it back to the customer and why it's the better solution is part of the education process. And that's really taken a big impact on us is less about sales and more about education and making people aware of this pain point and letting them know that, hey, there's a solution for this. Like what you're experiencing has a name. Here's how you label it. And here's what we're doing to fix it.
And that's the beauty of the entrepreneurial's journey. It's like, if you want to make your life exciting, fun, crazy, rewarding, but also stressful, depressing, I mean, you go to the most beautiful places and the darkest places as an entrepreneur,
Yeah. The exceptional highs and lows. Some days
Yes.
it's amazing. You have 10,000 signups and then the next day you're at your kid's soccer game. You have
It was crazy. The only bad thing about that, I mean, it was terrible, but we set a style of how to talk to customers, which stayed for years. Like,
Mhm.
since we didn't have a solution, we're like, hey, thank you so much. We're looking into it. We'll get back to you. That was our response. And so our team did that a lot at first. And I'm like, you're not helping them. Like, answer the question. Don't
Not
just
getting back to them.
You're not getting back to them with an answer. And like during that time, like Kenny's father-in-law started working for us and he worked at Kajabi for years. So sometimes the biggest failures is where you learn how to move forward as a company. You're always being refined as an entrepreneur.
Mm.
My wife the other day said, my superpower is not, well, I might be the smartest or best looking, let's say. She might have said that too. But she said you don't give up. And that's the secret to an entrepreneur. You may have to pivot 1,000 times. You may actually quit something, or like I exited Kajabi. I'm not a part of them anymore. But I don't ever give up. I keep moving to the next thing. And I think as an entrepreneur, that's all you have to do. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have the right answer. Just when you fail, it's like the Rocky thing. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's like, can you get back up after you get hit? Like that's
Yeah.
how you make a successful startup.